Hey everybody, it's Dori Abell with The Perfect Wedding Guide, and I am so excited. Tonight is our first Wednesday night wedding chat hosted by The Perfect Wedding Guide. Tonight's topic, we are discussing band or DJ or both. And so I have brought two amazing guest speakers onto the show tonight. I have Rebecca Steele with Lucy Black Entertainment. Hey, Rebecca. And I have Alex Malloy with Platinum DJ out of Kansas City.
Hello, Alex.
Yay. So one of the more popular questions that I hear, especially at wedding shows, is engaged couples saying, should I hire a band or a DJ? So let's talk about, Alex, I'm going to turn it to you first.
Okay.
What are some of the top reasons why a couple would go for a DJ?
So the biggest reason, generally speaking, is kind of like the vibe you're going for overall, and then also the budget. Typically speaking, bands are more expensive than DJs, and that's because there's a lot more that goes into a band than a DJ. We are a one-man show for the most part, lug around equipment, whereas a band has, generally more people, more equipment, instruments, and all of the back end stuff too.
Okay. Rebecca, back over to you. So what are some of the pros, or what are some of the main key points as to why an engaged couple should hire a band?
I think what we see the most is people wanting that emotional experience and connection with more human beings, right? And don't get me wrong, I actually love DJs, especially really good DJs, but there's nothing like having four singers engaging your crowd and in the dance floor with you, as well as horns and then the whole band. So I think it's really comes down to the live experience that people really are going for.
And I just realized that I jumped right into a topic before really even giving you two a chance to tell me more about your company. So please forgive me on that. Alex.
Yes.
How long have you been with Platinum DJ? And can you tell me a little bit about the company?
Yeah, so I've been with the company for about a year and a half now, which has been a different experience since, 2020 didn't exactly happen for the wedding industry. So there's a lot of, jump right in, feet first, swam very hard. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, what you would normally be doing is nothing what you would typically be doing. So there was, a pause button in that, but it was a lot of fun and it's been a great learning experience. My background is on the event side, not the wedding side, but I very quickly learned how important a DJ is, or a band, when it comes to the process of a wedding. Platinum DJ has been around for about 10 years now. My boss just bought the company right when I got on board. So in October 2019, it was formerly Platinum KC. We are now Platinum DJ. We strive ourselves on the Platinum standard. So for us, that means being professional, having the talent to back that up, and then also just being fun and having a blast. Kind of like Rebecca was saying, is we're all about that, that personal experience and creating that environment. So that's really what the Platinum standard is and about Platinum DJ.
Okay, very good. Rebecca, Lucy Black Entertainment. Tell me more, and tell me, I know your backstory, but tell us how you got involved in music.
Yeah, so, I'll start with Lucy Black Entertainment. So I'm co-owner of Lucy Black. We are a boutique entertainment company. We do specialize in live music, like that's probably the majority of what we have. But we actually do have a nice team of DJs, a full production company, and a lighting company. So we have all the entertainments and immersive acrobats, dancers, all that. Like we have the whole team. My background actually is in music. So I'm a classically trained violist, got my master's in performance. I started doing weddings in high school, putting together groups in college. And then when I moved to the DC area, I got connected with another entertainment company up here who specialized in entertainment design, really customizing events. And so I ran the quartet, and then I ended up in the office running the back end and then helping run the company. And then I guess 2018, my business partner and I, who also is a violist, she and I jumped start our own thing. And so, yeah, been doing that ever since.
I love it. I love it. Okay, ladies, let's talk about ceremonies, because oftentimes I feel like engaged couples are very focused on their location, and sometimes they forget that they're going to need microphones and music for their ceremonies. So, Alex, what are some of the services that you provide when it comes to doing the wedding ceremonies on a DJ side of things?
Yeah, so our DJ setup on the ceremony side is primarily just vocal and hearing. So we provide a speaker specifically aimed toward the seating area, because that's who they need to hear. And then we also do an over-the-ear or lapel microphone for the officiant, so that way they don't have to hold anything, because no one wants to see an officiant juggling a microphone and his script and whatever else. And then we also provide the DJ and a mixer to play any specific type of music that they're wanting. That entrance song, the exit song, sometimes making sure that the volumes are correct when people have a singer, or there's very often times we're also assisting in the sound for a violist or a cello player or a harp player. So we're really there just to help make sure everyone's heard, no matter who is speaking or playing.
Okay. Rebecca, what would you say your most popular instrumentation is? If a couple's going to be booking live music for their ceremony, what do you see the most of?
So can I have two answers?
Yes, absolutely.
I would say our string quartet. So I love strings. String quartet's classic. It's elegant. And of course, they can play anything. So strings playing jazz, pop, rock, whatever. We all kind of customize it to make sure it fits the clients. And actually, acoustic guitar. I think that especially when we have bands, it's more cost effective to have a member of the band play your ceremony. And having an acoustic guitar can cover a wide range of styles. We also have just amazing teammates who can do everything from classical to Latin to pop, jazz. And so when you get that flexibility, that's a really fun option. So
yeah, I like that a lot. That's becoming a big trend too. The acoustic guitar taking modern songs and then doing the very almost like the naked version of it, where it's just slimmed down to that one guitar playing that favorite.
yeah.
So, and Alex, on the DJ side of things, I'm sure with ceremony music, you're seeing a lot of the piano guys and a lot of the acoustic guy, Vitamin String Quartet.
Yeah, exactly. Though we're playing the music, there's a lot of that type of music being played just because of the nature of that part of a wedding.
So when it comes to the reception side of things, I know that with a lot of the string quartets, they're playing the prelude music, ceremony music. If the reception's at the same location, a lot of times they'll stay and play into that cocktail hour. Rebecca, have you seen events where maybe the couple's booking the string ensemble for the ceremony, but then they're rocking out the rest of the evening with a DJ, or rocking out the rest of the evening with another band? What are some of those? Like, do you see a combination of things getting booked together?
We do a lot, actually. And what's really funny is even more recently, especially with 2020, I think that we've been seeing a huge spike in our DJ bookings just because of headcounts. Like DC is still at 10 people, which is super fun.
Yeah. Well, Kansas City just switched over, right?
Yeah, so because of the way Kansas City is, we're like the Kansas City metro area. So there's a lot of different counties, and each county has different regulations. So there's one county that's like kind of up in the air, like, hey, we're great, just check in. And then there's other places that are like, we're still at like 50% capacity, tables have to be spread apart. It just kind of, depends upon where we are.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we're even seeing venues don't get capacity. It's like, unless they're a restaurant. It's weird.
So back to what you were saying. So you're saying you've been seeing more DJ stuff just on headcount.
And I think that especially with booking things together, at least in our team, it's more cost effective when we're booking their reception and their strings. And then pairing that together is super fun because then they can feel like they're getting more live elements and then moving to a DJ. But also, we love having our bands with our strings. We'll even sometimes convince them to pull the strings in for like the dinner hour also. So maybe we can have them at the start of the reception with first dance and the band, things like that, combining the things. It's fun.
And I know that the DC market, you are priced higher than some of the other cities in the country. But if you were to give me kind of a range for like a standard I'll say standard 5-piece band for a reception, what kind of price range are we looking at?
Yeah, I would say, and I usually think in terms of pieces, usually 6 to 7-piece bands are usually what we're seeing, at least before guest head counts mattered. I usually tell people to stick between 6 to 10,000. Once you get into the $3,000-$4,000 bands, it's kind of a crapshoot. You can sometimes get something really great, but like you were saying before, Alex, like there's a level of professionalism and understanding of what you're getting into. And when you're doing a high-end black tie wedding, having a band that might not know how to deal with that is not something I enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. And Alex, over to you on the DJ side of things. I know Kansas City is actually a higher market in the nation than some of the other cities. What would you like a standard 5-hour reception for a DJ? What kind of price range do you think couples can expect to see?
So we actually I did a bunch of market research because we were looking at our prices and comparing them to a lot of the other people that we would consider a comparison. Just like you were speaking to, Rebecca, just because a $300 DJ is a great price doesn't necessarily mean you're getting, that black tie level of service. So with us, we consider ourselves, one of the top 3 DJ companies in Kansas City. So we are priced kind of higher. But I would say anywhere from, realistically, the gamut of someone that I would book is about anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,000.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Good advice for the couples too. Rebecca, top 3 questions that couples need to ask when considering hiring live musicians.
Great question. I think they need to ask venue specific questions to start with. So understanding their space. If they're looking at hiring a band, understanding that their space can accommodate the band, understanding the sound. If you're in some of these big halls, you have to know if you're going to need extra sound, extra speakers, especially toasts. People don't understand. It's all about the talking. It's not about the music. I know you guys know. Third, let me think. I think what I would really advise people to ask when you're looking at anyone who's a live musician, especially independent bands, maybe not working with agents, that you don't have someone vetting a team for you, is I would ask them their experience of running a party, running a wedding, because being able to perform at a bar, which is a wonderful thing, it's a totally different game than actually running an event. So that's what I would say.
Could not agree with you more. And in that same vein, Alex, will you tell us what is the difference? What are the 3 most important differences between a bar/club DJ and a wedding DJ?
So again, kind of like Rebecca was saying, is they're completely separate things. A bar DJ or a party DJ is going to be really great at keeping that vibe up the entire time and like partying to 10, and playing loud and really in your face, in that environment. For a wedding DJ, it's really about reading the crowd, understanding that there needs to be some sort of breaks. We can't do 15 dance songs back to back because that's just, everyone's going to get tired. You have to have you have to have a bathroom break. You have to have a drink break, and then I would say being able to MC and be on the microphone in the wedding side, because it's very different again than being in a bar and just saying, hey, here's a song, hey Kansas City, how's it going, and in a wedding you really have to be able to help move the night along and MC that night appropriately and play the right music when they're supposed to. Dinner music, background music is completely different than open dance music. So that's kind of where I think the biggest differences are.
Mm-hmm. I think that's
Did
really
I give you
important.
3?
Yeah, that was 3. I think that's important, because I see couples going to bars. That's where they hang out on the weekends, right? And they see Billy Bob and Joel hanging out, playing their acoustic guitars, and they love them. But are those the people that are going to do the best job for your wedding?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe for you, yes. But different strokes for different folks. I always lean towards, let's go with the professionals. Let's go with the ones that know what they're doing. Okay, Rebecca. So you've got a couple, they've hired a band. Do they get to choose specific songs off of a song list through Lucy Black? And so 2 questions. Can they choose specific songs off of a song list? And then also, if a couple really wants a special song for their first dance or father-daughter dance, and the band that they've hired doesn't know it yet, is that something that the band would consider learning, or would they have to go with a pre-recorded version?
So those are great questions. And I think that these are also things back to the list of what you should be asking live musicians when you're looking at people. So we always tell people, yes, you can choose songs from a song list, but what we do is we really have to frame it. So just like Alex was saying about choosing the right songs at the right time, we ask our couples to pick 5 must plays, 5 do not plays, and then I'll give them a B list. So they know that the band can choose from these songs. They might play them, they might not, but they're going to hit the must plays. And limiting those do not plays, especially for a band. I know it's a little bit different with a DJ, but the band can only memorize so much music. And if you cut all the dance songs that gets everyone on the dance floor, they have their hands tied and they can't do anything. So trust them, they're professionals choosing those songs, but we do have the song lists. In terms of special songs, our personal bands usually will learn up to 2 or 3 songs for the special dances. But I do always tell people I need to know the songs before I can agree, because I have one instance in my head of a band telling me, I'm not sure this is a good idea, because they knew that the couple loved Van Morrison and they picked an incredibly thickly layered song with the strings and everything else for their first dance. And they were like, we can do it, but it's not going to sound like that. So as long as you're okay, we'll learn it. And so that's always what I ask every band. It's making sure that what you're picking works with that band. And most bands will learn what you're asking. If not, it's so easy to throw on a pre-recorded version and then just make sure you're talking to them about editing it down so that it's not a full-length song. So
I've got to ask, was it Into the Mystic?
It was.
Love that song. That's my favorite Van Morrison song. I know.
It's so beautiful. And it was funny because that specific couple, they ended up having the band do it and they were fine. But it's a big difference if you really know the song. It just changes it and that was specifically a 6-piece band. So very different vibes.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad it all worked out.
It did.
Yeah. Alex, so one of the issues I know some couples can run into, especially with today's technology, YouTube, searching artists on YouTube and falling in love with songs that don't actually exist in the licensed. Okay, so how do you guys navigate that path?
So I would lean more on my DJs for this to answer this specifically. I always say if you can find it on Spotify, especially for a special, we call them special dances, just to be very inclusive of everybody. So any special dances or special dance requests, I always say if you can find it on Spotify or something like that, that's great. If it's something more specific, because we also work in the Hispanic community as well. So, and they have very specific songs. You know, if it's something you can provide us, that's better. If it's some great person who's done a great compilation of several different songs and made it sound like one and use their own voice, that's great. But transferring that's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you worry about the quality. Something I actually just learned is different speakers can sound different with different quality of music, which you don't really think about. So if it's a lower quality video, you know, we can play a video, but if it's a lower quality video, that's not going to sound great coming through the speakers, especially if it's a first dance song where that volume needs to be pushed a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spotify is a great tool when you're kind of like searching stuff. I know one of the issues that we've run into is that there are some songs that are exclusive only to Spotify.
Yes.
And I haven't run into that often, but it's heartbreaking when you do, because then you have to tell the bride, hey, that song you envisioned walking down the aisle to, we can't get our hands on it because they didn't release a copy of it. Yeah.
And that's always a conversation point. So, and very luckily, again, I lean on my DJs for that. Once we're contracted, at least in my company, I hand it over to the DJ because they, again, know exactly what they're talking about when it comes to every specific thing and like music quality and all of that good stuff. So fortunately, unfortunately, they have to handle that.
Yeah.
I just get to say you can't use that confetti cannon because the venue says no.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Or the smoke machine, depending on which venue you're at.
Oh, right. That too.
Rebecca, if you had to say, and we're going to pretend like 2020 didn't happen. If you had to say the top 3 first dance songs of 2019, what would they be in your opinion?
What a good question. Shoot, it's funny because we had some really unique ones. I think I saw Can't Help Falling in Love a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily as a first dance, but incorporated somewhere in either ceremony or the special dances. We also have been seeing more throwbacks. We've been seeing more like, I remember we had one that was a Journey song that I'm blanking on now. And we had some more of those nostalgic songs. I wish I could remember all of them now. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I put you on the spot.
We also do still see, I think Unforgettable is one that we see so often, probably more with father-daughters, but in terms of special dances, that's one that I think has become kind of a staple and classic as well.
Yeah. Oh man. And I'll tell you, that version of Nat King Cole with Natalie.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. Alex, top 3 must play Get Your Booty on the Dance Floor songs.
Oh my gosh. Put me on the spot. I
know I'm the worst.
Head,
I'm sorry.
But I can't say them.
Okay.
Like the For the Garter, you know, all the single ladies, all of that, that one. I mean, then you have your classics like that some people love and some people hate, like, you know, the chicken dance, the cha-cha slide, or like the electric slide. You know, those are always good ones.
The group dance songs. Yeah. We tell our couples, listen, we know that you either love them or hate them, right, but we recommend you have to keep at least 2 of them in the shuffle, because even if you say you hate them now, you drink 2 glasses of wine and I promise you're out there doing the Cupid Shuffle.
100%. Could not agree more.
Yeah. Let's see. What are some things, what are some frequently asked questions, Rebecca, that you see your couples asking quite a bit in that initial consultation?
You know, I think, and we kind of did cover it, but I think what people are challenged with most, DJ or band, from what we've seen, is really pricing, because it's so all over the place. Mm-hmm. And they're getting quotes from people, like, especially up here, there's a team that's usually around 4,000 in this area, and they aren't really a core band. They kind of pick and choose who they work with from gig to gig, and it goes up to like 20,000. So I'm like, well, it's hard to answer that, you know. So it's like, I think that that's the biggest thing. I think that it's really the budgets. And so one thing we do to help with managing expectations is actually usually recommend them getting a planner first, because I can't tell them that a $10,000 band is going to fit in their budget because I don't know the rest of the night, you know? And
Right.
so that's one of the things we've been finding, helping, coaching them to talk to someone who can help with the overall budget. And also understanding how to prioritize their budget. Because I mean, I remember one specific wedding, they had flown a band down to, I guess we were in Naples. And I mean, that's going to cost you some money. They ended up cutting some of the food courses to have the band. And
Wow.
it was a wonderful wedding, but it actually kind of felt weird that there was like just dinner. Like it was not what we were used to. And so I would have told that planner, because we were pulled in after the planner was after us, is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I would have recommended a less expensive band to fly down, and then like maybe you can work with your budget that way. So I think that's really, it's budgets is a big, big thing for us.
Yeah. Well, and I think that over the years, seeing the couples that are booking the bands, they know what band they want. And a lot of times it is, well, the ring's already been selected, right? So then it's dress, venue, band, and then everything else falls into place. Because I don't know, I feel like people that are, and I'm getting my 10-minute warning. Couples that want to hire live music, I feel like they've envisioned that since they were little girls. They are little boys too. They just kind of knew that they wanted to have that live performance piece a part of their wedding day. Okay, Alex, back over to you, babe.
Yeah.
What kind of planning process do you provide to your clients for the DJ side of things?
So once we get contracted, and we don't do it before contracting because you never really know if it's going to work out or not. Obviously, we can always hope and assume, but until that contract's signed, we always kind of wait and move forward on everything. We use an online client planning portal where they can go in and put in all. Sorry, my dog is scratching at the door.
No worries, we can't hear it.
That's good. Okay. So you can go on there and select again your must plays, your do not plays. And I use that as a reference because we at Platinum DJ have 10 staff DJs that we match you with. So that really helps me say, okay, we don't have niches, but like obviously we all have our favorites. So we're going to try and match you with someone who they like that kind of music more. So we use that to match them. They can also put in all of your bridal party information, how to say that super hard last name that looks one way and is something completely different, and first names. And then also, who can make the yes or no calls? Is that a planner? Is that you? Is that mom? Is that dad? Whoever that person is. And then also the day of timeline, which is obviously something that kind of floats a little bit, but we're looking to start the ceremony at this time, the cocktail at this time, do cake cutting and all that good stuff. So we do everything online, which has actually been really helpful in this whole COVID thing. I know we don't like talking about it, but with COVID, we've actually had, unfortunately, a DJ test positive 2 days before a wedding. And it was an email away that that new DJ had all of that information. And it was just, hey, unfortunately, this is what happened. Here you go. And they were off to the races and didn't have to have a second meeting 2 days before.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Well, good. I love organization. Rebecca, with Lucy Black, what are some COVID plans that you guys have set in place for your clients?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us has been we actually purchased a rope and stanchion for our teams so that we don't have to actually request that being something provided with live music, so we can keep guests at a good distance. We don't have to worry. And then our sound team is providing more mics than we normally would, so that we're trying to designate that if we have 3 toasts, we have 3 mics. If we have, whatever it is, as well as having Clorox wipes everywhere to make sure that we can wipe everything down. I usually have a pair of gloves. So if I'm running around and getting microphones, things like that. Yeah, that's generally it. We've had a lot of venues wanting to do on-site testing, which actually, just to your point, Alex, is very tricky because I don't have 3 other singers on standby if for some reason there's something that happens. So it's been an interesting, it hasn't happened yet, thank goodness, but just to think about those things in plan A, plan B, so.
What about shuffling dates? Did you girls have to manage moving a lot of the 2020 dates to 21 or 22?
That was my entire 2020, really.
Okay.
Yeah. We moved, we're still moving dates. I
Yep.
just got called for my May weddings. Yeah, we're moving everything. There have been a few cancellations, a few couples that unfortunately did actually break up. I don't know if you had to deal with that, Alex, too.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that's always the most hard conversation when you're also a business owner.
Yeah.
And you've made that investment already, to have that conversation. Typically, I've noticed it's the mother of the bride or the groom that calls and it's like, hey, I'm so sorry.
Right. You know what though? Better before than years down the road when you have to separate and untangle lives.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm putting both of you on the spot again. Favorite music quote or lyric from a song? No pressure. No pressure. Just that everybody's going to be paying attention and watching this.
Yeah, right.
While you're thinking of yours, we've got Allegro Studio. So Rebecca, new development, we built a recording studio.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can't wait for you to come back to St. Louis. Let me know when you're visiting. So we did bio videos for each one of our music instructors, and Arlen, who I play in a jazz band with, he's our drummer. Love him. He's played all over the country. He did like Grand Ole Opry multiple times. Anyway, his favorite quote was, "Let the good times roll." He said, life is short and you just need to have fun. So let the good times roll.
That's a very good quote.
Yeah. Alex, did you come up with one?
So I have my wedding answer and then my non-wedding answer.
Okay, let's hear both.
So I was actually driving into the office today because I still go to the office a couple days a week. And there was a new song that came out and it was super simple. I am a warrior. And I think that really, for me personally, hits home because we have to stand on our own 2 feet before we can do anything else.
That's true.
And then my wedding answer, I actually just got married like just over a year and a half ago. So right before I started with Platinum DJ.
You're welcome.
I actually used my DJ company before I worked for them, before I knew I was going to work for them. So that's my primo selling point.
Yeah.
We and my husband picked it out, and we danced to the #1 song for 4 years of Ed Sheeran's Perfect. But we did the duet version. And for me, the words in that song are very hit very close to home. And then I love the duet version because he unintentionally sang to me during our first dance, which then of course just made me cry. So the words in that whole song hit really close to home for me too.
That's really sweet.
I love that. That is sweet.
I'm having a hard time. I think what's funny is I think that especially in 2020, I love what you said, Alex, about I am a warrior. I feel like all those kinds of power songs of we'll get through this, have kind of been in my head. So yeah, that's
okay.
Really good.
Staying positive, staying powerful.
Yes.
Well, thank you, ladies. That is all the time that we have for tonight. Again, I am Dori Abell with the Perfect Wedding Guide. I have been here on a call with Alex Malloy out of Kansas City, Platinum DJs, and Rebecca Steele with Lucy Black out of Washington, D.C. I will have links to both of those companies in the comment section of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was very informative. So until next Wednesday, God bless. You guys take care.